Wait, before all you wriggly little worms go down into the comments and say that I copied this video from Pyrocynical, yeah, okay, I watched his video and I got inspired to make this video. So screw you, now that I've mentioned it, you can't comment about it. Loser. Subscribe though. If you've been on the internet for the past month or so, you've probably noticed one game triumphing over everything. Lethal Company is a survival horror game made by a furry, so I've been very reluctant to go over this video. But it's a sensation. It's the biggest thing on the internet right now, and that's pretty much inarguable. Any gaming YouTuber or streamer you know has probably played Lethal Company once in their stream or once in a video. The whole gimmick of the game is that you work for this company, and you go in, do maps, planets, moons, collect scrap, and then go back. And there's some monsters that are gonna eat you or kill you. It's a very fun game, and if you want to know more about the game, if you want to know like a stupid in-depth detail about the game, watch the Pyrocynical video. That's how I got inspiration for this video. Inspiration in big quotes, I'm definitely not just stealing it. But what do I have to add to Lethal Company? Why am I making a video? Well, a few months ago, I made a video about another type of horror, where I tried to predict that security camera horror was going to be the new type of horror, and I was kind of right on that. Not security cameras in general, like not security cameras specifically, but that kind of Mandela catalog type of horror has definitely taken off, so one prediction that Puuwks got right. One little game furry that I got right. RIP MatPat, by the way, may he rest in peace. But I'm here today to make another type of prediction, that now, instead of those Mandela catalog, Uncanny Valley type of games, Lethal Company will become the new norm for video games in horror. And I don't mean that every horror game going forward is just going to be a variation of Lethal Company. The main aspect of Lethal Company that I think is going to be copied is co-op. Co-op is an amazing feature in games. It lets you have maybe double or triple game time on a game, and you can play with your friends to make it even more fun or more scary. And Lethal Company thrives on co-op. If you do the game by yourself and you're a loser and have no friends, like me, the game is like half what it can be. And if you do it with a full squad of friends, it's even better. And it's not like co-op is a new thing in horror games. Games like Phasmophobia has had co-op way before Lethal Company, and Phasmophobia, another big huge horror game in the market. So just if you want a horror game, add some co-op. It will make it way more, marketable and probably more scary. Unless you're obviously going for the scary tactic of isolation, then friends probably isn't the best option. Another way I think Lethal Company thrives and, is going to make other horror games want to do the same is not holding your hand at all. There is no tutorial whatsoever in Lethal Company. You just throw yourself in and learn on the go. Hey, before the rest of the video plays, please subscribe. You've got this far into it already, so subscribing couldn't hurt, and I'm trying to hit 5k by the end of the year. So subscribe. The company demands you do. The game does not hold your hand at all. It is super unforgiving. But once you learn it, it's really satisfying. And if you have a game like a horror game and you just hold the hand of the player the whole way through, it doesn't make it scary because the player knows the game's just gonna have your back. Like, nothing's really gonna happen. The game has your back. So I'm definitely putting my prediction bucks into the thing that horror games moving forward will not hold your hand whatsoever, like Lethal Company. And most horror games don't, they just give you a little tutorial, but there are some that it's so in a box what you can do that there's no point, it's not even fun. Speaking of in a box, Lethal Company, you can do basically whatever you want. It's complete free roam in the sense of the game lets you do whatever you want. And it also has the added bonus of mods. Now, all the most popular games in the world like Minecraft, GTA, Fortnite have had mods. Fortnite the least out of all three, but modding is a huge part of gaming. Especially if you're a Bethesda game and your game sucks on launch and you have to wait until someone comes up with a mod to make the game actually playable. But when I say Lethal Company has a bunch of mods, that's probably an understatement. Lethal Company has an unlimited amount of mods that you can go through, including some that might be better played alone, if you know what I mean. Something else that Lethal Company has that I think more horror games will have is the art style of Lethal Company. Loads of horror games go for the super realistic styles, make it as relatable as possible so it's more scary, I guess. But Lethal Company has a very minimalist graphic style, and your PC needs to be basically a potato to not be able to run it. which again adds to the accessibility of the game, that anyone can really play Lethal Company. And personally, I just like the retro graphics. I think they look pretty cool, so I would love to see them in other horror games moving forward. And for one of the final points on why I think Lethal Company is just setting the pathway for horror games now, is Lethal Company doesn't really have a story. If you've watched the Pyrocynical video that this video is just ripping from, Lethal Company doesn't really have a story as of now. There is a little bit of a story brewing, but it's not very story rich. You just go in, serve the company, do it again. It's a very, repeated playing, but it's a good loop. It doesn't get tedious or anything, especially if you have friends. And I know some cornerstones of horror games is that, oh, the story is incredible, it's so scary, it's so chilling, bone-curdling. I think the lack of story is actually scarier than the presence of story, because most stories nowadays for horror games are super predictable, and if you don't have a story and let the community find it in like an ARG type thing, it makes it way more scary, because it's up to interpretation. Like, let's say FNAF. FNAF has a huge storyline, but the games don't go through it as like a Resident Evil game. The story takes a backseat to let the community deal with it. But that also could be seen as just that the developers are lazy and can't be bothered to put an actual story in their games. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So bottom line of this video is you're probably going to see a lot more Lethal Company type games in the future, especially because the game's made so much money and other developers are going to want to get a little bit of that money. So keep collecting scrap. You're serving the company well. See you next week.